Hello everyone and welcome back to 50. We are going to be talking about Chapter 13, how to build book creating learning environment. And we'll cover the lectures. I think it's going to be relatively short. The overview does include, or would normally include, videos. Those links are available via the download of PowerPoint. Otherwise, I will also make them available on my let you know. And the videos that I'm referencing are simply some examples of communication vectors. Nothing drastically important, but they can help you just capitalize on what the idea is by tying them to illustration. The objectives for this week are to relate academic learning time and student cooperation, creating and maintaining a classroom climate conducive to academic achievement and socioeconomic well-being, to summarize the research on the role of rules, procedures, consequences, and the design of physical space and classroom management, with special attention to establishing the classroom management system during the first week of class. 3, to discuss how to maintain a positive learning environment by encouraging student engagement, preventing problems, and developing caring, respectful relationships with your students. And then 4, to characterize successful teacher-student and student-student communication through such approaches as active listening, conflict resolution, remediation, and restorative justice. So those four approaches, those are the parts that I have videos for. So just letting you know that up front. Let's go ahead and get started with this idea of classroom management and academic learning time. The correlationship between classroom management and academic learning time is simple. The more time you have to spend on classroom management, the less time your students will have to learn. Every minute that you spend correcting behavior takes away from the time spent on tasks, or the time spent on learning. To quantify how this can impact learning time, you can think about it in this way. 10 minutes per 15-minute class section is spent on administrative tasks. That is 20% of overall class time. But more importantly, out of a 6-hour day, this equates to a full hour of every day that is lost. So in a typical school year, there are 180 days, and 30 days of academic learning time would then be lost just to administrative tasks. So all of that could be things like handing out homework, handing out assignments, taking roll call, having students change desk arrangement, all of those kinds of things really add up. So those are administrative tasks, and then you have times when students act out and they misbehave, and all of that takes away from the time spent on learning. So therefore, classroom management is actually a pretty significant part of ensuring student learning. So who's going to suffer the most from the lack of time management? The students, especially those students from lower socioeconomic backgrounds or those with special needs, and really those of students who need additional time and support because they lack resources. So when we take away academic learning time and replace it with administrative tasks, we're really causing suffering on the part of those learners. So what makes it so hard? And we need to think about it this way. Learning environments are difficult to construct or to have developed meaningfully because they're multidimensional. You have many people and things happening at once. You have Johnny working on his homework, and Susie is pulling on his hair, and Max is tying his shoe, and you're trying to teach, and you have all of these people and all of these things, and they're all happening at the same time, which this idea of simultaneously, everything's happening at once. So the multidimensional aspect and this idea of simultaneously occurring things, they're tied together. So multidimensional and simultaneous. They are also unpredictable. And I will say this, everything you plan for will probably not happen. Very, very structured in what you think will happen. In terms of, I have my lesson plan laid out, you think it's going to go this way, and it gets back to your students just throw a wrench in it. For whatever reason, they're not paying attention that day. It's the day after elections, and everybody wants to talk about that. Or you get hurt on the playground, or you plan all these things, and you just are having an off day. And what also happens is you can plan the same activity for two different classes, and one class will react one way, and one will react another way. So there really is a lot of unpredictability. You just have a lot of people in a classroom and in a space, and you just don't know for sure what's going to happen. And then this idea that it's public. So what is said and done is judged by all, and this could be a special concern in today's environment of political correctness. So we definitely want to be aware, and it's demanded that we are aware that are public servants, and that everything we do is up to or open to public scrutiny. Then last is this idea of history. So what has happened before influences perceptions of current activity. So whatever we've done in the past that did or didn't work well influences how students will react now. And basically this all boils down to one idea, and that's that communication creates shared meaning. So whether we want to or not, we're constantly communicating, and that influences what happens. Pretty simple idea. So communication is an extremely important aspect of classroom management. There are also many difficult problems that are related to it, and ways of dealing with them that can be beneficial to us as an instructor, but also to our students. And one is the arranging of student desks. So all of these things you can see from my diagram here are tied to this idea of behavior. So how things are laid out physically in the classroom will have an influence on how things happen. So how students react, how you react, what they get out of it. So we're going to start up at the top with arranging students' desks. So the arrangement depends on, of course, the type of interaction desired for instruction. Discussion groups require circles, lectures may require rows, some activities require tables, some don't. Having different time zones for different zones can be important, and you want to think about this idea. If you're going to have multiple arrangements, having them practice, putting them together is a good idea from a time efficiency standpoint. And in particular, think about this idea of establishing those routines early in your year, in your academic year, so that from the beginning they know how to do these things. And there's a lot of time spent in the first few days of class getting to know each other, which are all wonderful, but we can also spend some time setting expectations. The next thing there is student density. So student density is the number of individuals that occupy a given space. If we have too many students in too small a space, we're really just inviting trouble. They feel uncomfortable and may, quite literally, start fighting for their space. You can imagine if you have somebody that's within your physical space, and let's say within 18 inches of you, you start to feel a little uptight. Consequently, what happens is you start to either verbally or physically push back a little bit. Then we have this idea of the action zone. So the action zone is the area closest to the teacher's position. And you're really going to want to change the action zones so that different student groups have that influence, right? So they're part of the action. If you are always standing in the same spot, then those students that are closest to you are always the same, and they're really getting an advantage. And those that aren't, those that are farther away from you, just want to change your action zone. And that relates to this idea of teacher proximity. So as we just talked about, teachers should stay as close to students as possible and to as many students as possible. One of the things that happens is teachers' proximity influences students' attention. So again, if you walk up to a student within a couple of feet of them, they're probably going to pay attention. If you always stay at the front of the room, maybe not. What's the next thing we want to talk about is this idea of traffic patterns. So students and teachers need to be able to enter and exit the classroom quickly, have easy access to classroom materials, and move around without disturbing other students. So aisles should be large and free of obstruction. And then rows and seating combinations that allow for this are necessary from a safety standpoint. And they allow the instructor to actually change up the action zone. So again, thinking about setting behaviors from the beginning. So if I want students to be able to quickly get in groups of 4, practice that. Practicing it from the beginning is setting the stage for success all year long. And then we have this idea of the teacher's desk. All good teachers know that teaching should never occur from their seated position. They're really putting yourself at a level with your students, which may not necessarily be a bad thing, but a position of authority when you're actually up and moving around is a little bit better from a psychological standpoint. So the desk can really be in an unobstructed and unobtrusive spot. So putting it in the back of the room is fine. This is really where you grade. And the reality is you should be moving and walking all the time when you're teaching. So that leads us to teacher movement. In order to keep as many students in the action zone for as long as possible, teachers must develop the habit of constantly moving about the classroom. You just want to keep moving, you want to keep them interested, and it keeps you engaged too. If you're sitting at a desk and you're trying to teach, just detracts from your energy. The next thing we want to deal with is this idea of activity boundaries. So different parts of the classroom can be designated for different types of activities. You have a reading area, a math area, an art area. This can be very helpful in getting students to understand the expectations for behavior. So in other words, this is what we do and this is where we do it. So those are some of the physical problems and components of classroom management. The next thing that we're going to talk about today is this idea of focusing on cooperation. So working together requires good communication, but we also need to plan activities, spaces, and provide appropriate goals and understand that transitions should be smooth. So we want to look for problems to stop them before they happen. So thinking about what could go wrong and then planning to ensure that that doesn't happen. We want to create a sequence for attention and interest. So what we're really doing is diminishing the distractors. You can imagine the snowball effect of students not knowing how to arrange desks to get tasks done. One makes a suggestion and then another one responds. Some understand how you want the circle, but some don't. And soon you have just chaos. We've all experienced that in some classrooms. So you want them, really what you want is you want them to like the classroom and you want them to like you. So structure is a good thing. You can think about that in relationship to authoritative parenting. You want to establish a good balance. In the next slides, we're going to talk about some ideas for establishing good communication, especially in terms of conflict. Okay, so communication in the classroom. There are 4 ideas that we want to talk about today, 4 ideas that we really think work well. And those are 1, active listening, 2, conflict resolution, 3, peer mediation, and 4, restorative justice. So the first one here is communication in the classroom, the key component being active listening. So with active listening, we want to block out external stimuli. So that's really creating an environment that's quiet. So it is difficult to listen. It's difficult to have good communication. There's a lot of excess noise happening. So we want to also attend to both verbal and nonverbal messages. So if Johnny is saying one thing, but Johnny's rolling his eyes while he says it, then we can interpret that as meaning he doesn't really care. He wants you to think that he cares for the moment so he can get on to doing whatever it was that he was doing. But we need to attend to both. So we want to address what we see as truly happening. And then we want to differentiate between what is intellectual and what is emotional. One of the things that we really should be focused on as instructors is helping students emotionally self-regulate. So this idea that you can experience emotion or feel an emotion, but it doesn't need to be overwhelming. It doesn't need to be the do-all, end-all of the moment. So helping them identify how they feel and then responding appropriately at an appropriate emotional level. And the last thing, we want to make inferences. So we may make an assumption or make an inference about what Jenny's eye roll means or what Johnny's tone of voice means, but we want to check that. We want to make sure that we validate them. So this is what I think you're really saying. This is what you mean. And so it's really active listening. So checks and balances. They say something, you respond, and kind of balance out that interpretive activity. So there is a very nice example of active listening that is available on this YouTube link listed here, which I will also post on icon. So moving on, our next key component would be conflict resolution. There's some ideas related to conflict resolution are one, use I messages. So I feel this way. So this helps you explain how you as a person or teacher are being impacted. And this is something that we want to model, but also encourage in our students. We want to also create an assertive discipline balance between passive and hostile. So you definitely want to be assertive, but you don't want to do all and it's my way or the highway kind of instructor. So allowing some voice for the student and some amount of accountability as well. So when a behavior won't stop, there are some things that we can do that may help mediate the situation and help define the problems. So I think this is what's really going on, Johnny. Is that true? We can generate some solutions. We can evaluate those solutions. So I present it and then, or even have them present it, which is even better. So have them generate solutions and then evaluate each solution. So if we do this, what will happen? How will you feel? Is that going to make you feel good or bad or somewhere in between? Is there something else that might be better? And then we make a decision, help them make a decision, and then we determine how to implement it. And then lastly, there's an evaluation of the solution. So nothing that happens is ever definitive, right? So we did this, we tried this, it really worked. Maybe we should try something else next time. So again, another link out on YouTube, and I will post those in the icon for you. The third key component is peer mediation, and this is a method of teaching students a negotiating strategy for their conflicts, and it's actually done by other students. So what happens with this is they just jointly define a problem, they exchange positions and interests. So this is how I feel, and this is what I think. This is how I feel, and this is what I think. And then we have them switch perspectives. So we ask them to say, oh, if you were Susie, how would you feel? If you were Johnny, how would you feel? And then we would invent at least 3 agreements that allow mutual gain. We want to create this idea that there are multiple ways that a solution can be reached. And then we work to reach an integrative agreement. So something that allows both students to be heard or multiple students to be heard, and then we arrive at some kind of resolution so that everybody feels like they were given value. And another link out on YouTube will be posted. And then our fourth key component is restorative justice. And this is this idea that we will right wrongs for future cooperation. So some tenets of this are that it's voluntary, that it is actually teacher-led, as opposed to the peer mediation, which is led by other students. And there is a flow of apology, restitution, so both students may apologize to each other, and then there is some attempt to correct the wrong, and then we develop a plan for the future. So again, what we're really doing here is practicing good modeling behavior for what is appropriate social interaction. And link out on YouTube, and that concludes a very short lecture for Chapter 13. And I hope you have a great day, evening, weekend, whatever it is that you are currently experiencing.